Welcome to CPAC Now, America Uncanceled. We're continuing to be here on the ground in Israel, and we're here with one of the most famous Russian refuseniks and Israeli thinkers, and someone who's been involved in politics and the whole conversation globally about human rights and anti-Semitism, Natan Sharansky. It's an honor to have you here with us at our event in CPAC.
Thank you. Welcome to Israel. It's very important that you have your meetings in Jerusalem, this spiritual center of the world.
So this is our first official CPAC in Israel. We're going to be in Tel Aviv tonight to start the conference. We have a lot of people in America and around the world who are turning into this. What's your message to the people of America?
Well, the most powerful weapon which America has to influence the world is freedom. Believe in the power of freedom to remove dictatorships and to make the world a better place. So I hope Americans will never give up this weapon and will always protect and defend their freedom, their democracy, and human rights all over the world.
You probably don't remember this, but you spoke at a CPAC in America, and obviously Ronald Reagan's political career is very intertwined with our CPAC history. You're a pretty big fan of Ronald Reagan, right?
Well, President Reagan was our big hero when I was in prison. In fact, as I told later to President Reagan, the most happy day in those 9 years that I was in prison was when President Reagan made his Evil Empire speech, and Soviet newspaper Pravda condemned him for this. Why it was so important? Because our fear of dissidents in Soviet prison was that the world will be bought by Soviet propaganda, and the world will continue believing that Soviet Union is a very powerful, very dangerous superpower, and you better not deal with this, not have any problems with. You better will be nice to these guys. And the fact that, and we dissidents knew how weak Soviet Union is from inside because it tries to keep hundreds of millions of people in prison. And the fact that finally there is the leader of the free world who calls a spade, who understands that that is evil empire and that it has no future and we should not be afraid of it. That was very encouraging and very important, and we knew that from this day, the days of Soviet Union are counted.
One final question. You talked about the concern with this concept of critical race theory and putting everything in terms of class and putting everything in terms of skin color and putting everything in terms of your economic standing. And you're very concerned that the West is adopting these types of propaganda words and these theories, which sound to you very much like Marxism.
Well, Marxism-Leninism was very dangerous ideology, which in the end, it really killed tens of millions of people. And it was justification for building one of the most awful dictatorships in the world. And it seemed to us that after the Soviet Union fell and the free world defeated this dictatorship through the power of its freedom, there will be no place for Marxism-Leninism in the modern world. And the fact that to see today how this idea that all the world is divided on privileged and non-privileged, and that non-privileged are always right, that privileged should not be given freedom of speech because their freedom of speech is only justification of the continued exploitation. And these restrictions on the freedom of speech under the pretext of political correctness. And political correctness was something understood as something which has to protect the ideology of the struggle of underprivileged against privileged. All this is this pure Marxism-Leninism. If you take the critical race theory and everywhere in the text will replace the word race with the word class, you'll get texts of Marxism-Leninism which we had to learn as loyal Soviet citizens in Soviet schools and universities. So yes, it is. Thanks God, America is a very powerful free society with all the institutions of freedom which you need. I hope you will use it not to permit to any kind of Marxist-Leninist theories to prevail.
Yeah, and is socialism is just a euphemism for Marxism?
Well, no, look, sometimes socialism can mean social justice, and there are social democratic parties which have nothing to do with the totalitarian ideas. But socialism, in the means of that, all the world is historical struggle of exploited people against exploiters, and only all the freedoms have to be taken away from exploiters, and as it was then in the so-called song of international, this hymn of Soviet Union, that all the world of oppression has to be destroyed to the end, and on this we will build our new world. That is a very dangerous concept.
Very dangerous. Well, you honor us being with us here this morning, and we hope to have a wonderful next few days in your country.